Poison Ivy are getting new necks and moving to Metropolis. Moving to Metropolis.
What a mess.
Welcome back to another DC Breakdown. Today we're going to be talking about Harley Quinn Season 5, Episode 1. Honestly, I think they did a good job with the first episode. Like, I feel like Season 4 kind of got lost in the sauce and wasn't as good as some of the previous ones, and it's kind of been getting a little bit more crazy and kind of just all over the place, where it hasn't really hit as much as it used to when the series first came out. However, I think the first episode of Season 5 really brought it back to its roots, and it felt like a good episode. Had some good moments, had a lot of fun Easter eggs and references. Felt more like that classic Harley Quinn when the series first started, minus the fact that she was a villain. She's more of that anti-hero now, but it still feels like she's kind of just a fun comedic character, and I didn't mind the first episode. Hopefully the rest of the season is going to feel like that, but I'm very curious to see what they do with probably the final season of the show. And, you know, it's always fun just seeing this weird and wacky stuff going on. So in today's video, we're going to be breaking it down and kind of going over all those Superman Easter eggs that happened during it, and some of the other stuff that connects from the last season. Like when the episode starts off, we see that Gotham is in ruin after the events of Season 4. We got giant rats running around. We see that the Bat family has disbanded after the last season, and just the consequences of everything that went on just kind of turned Gotham into a bigger shithole than it already is. Which is definitely that joke they were riding on here, where we have Gotham just being in utter despair, gross stuff, and then right across the river, half the river is gross, half the river is clean, and you go to this nice shiny metropolis that is this beautiful, perfect future city. So it's just kind of a nice joke to show the different sides of Metropolis being the nice shining place where it's like hopeful and clean, and then Gotham is just terrible like it kind of is in the comics. Obviously not to the extent it is in Harley Quinn, but that's what the joke is. And I think it's funny that they set up the Gotham City Sirens in the last season just to have them disband in this season in the first episode. They didn't last long at all, but they did go looking for Nightwing's body that is still missing from Season 4. But at the end of Season 4, we know that Damian brought him to be resurrected in the Lazarus Pit. So he is probably going to come back this season, probably a little bit crazier than he normally is. Just like how when anyone gets thrown in the Lazarus Pit, they're not at the right mind when they first come out. But the Gotham City Sirens had gone after the Enchantress because of Selina wanting to steal the gem that was on her. And that Enchantress is kind of a reference to the Suicide Squad movie from 2016 because she has the same look as that character. And I do find it funny that the reason they broke up is because Selina kept bringing them on missions to steal gems. Because in this version, Catwoman is just a thief. That's all she is, and that's all she ever does. So they set that up. And then they have Ivy and Harley being the clown and the plant. So the theme of Gotham City Sirens didn't really fit with them. And then Oracle just never got recognized as a member of their team. So maybe we'll see the Birds of Prey at some point in this series, with Oracle going off to find something else and Harley Quinn and Ivy running into their new team. But as we go into Gotham City, we see a little bit more kind of chaos going on. When we have Man-Bat just picking up people and leaving, we got Clock King and Riddler being together like they were before, and them just making a joke about how Harley and Ivy are not going out anymore, which is kind of a reference to when you kind of get in a relationship where you're kind of just comfortable with each other, you're not really looking to go out, and you're just comfortable being at home, where you kind of have that spark where you lose always going out and do all these fun activities, and which I feel like is just a real life thing, where people just kind of stop going out a lot. And they just stay at home most of the time, which is really relatable, which I think is kind of funny because that puts them into like that midlife crisis where Harley and Ivy have to start getting out again. They have to start feeling like they're getting out and being active and not just rotting at home. So that's pretty much setting up this season where they're going to Metropolis and staying there. Because we have Lois Lane being on the Tawny Show talking about how Lex Luthor was being arrested and thrown in prison because of Lois's article, which is kind of a reference to Superman and Lois, because Lois wrote a story about Lex Luthor that got him thrown in jail. That feels like a reference to that because it was really recent. We have Harley Quinn having a Suicide Squad shirt, which is a reference to her being on the Suicide Squad. Then when they leave Gotham to go to that Superman gala, we see the Daily Planet, a classic staple of Metropolis. However, they're going to the Superman gala that's all in preparation for the Superman Museum. And when they're at this gala, we have so many Superman Easter eggs and references throughout the entire thing. We have the OG black suit that he wore after he died from Doomsday, and they even reference that Superman died and then he's alive again in a newspaper article. We have the classic Superman suit from some of his early first appearances. We have a Superman power armor suit, which made its debut in 1990 in Action Comics 659 after Superman was stripped of his abilities, so he had to have them recreated with technology. We have the brave new Metropolis suit from Superman's animated series from 1997, as well as the space suit from that series as well. well. He has his blue and red containment suit and the new 52 suit. They have a screen showing the explosion of Krypton. We got the Black Mercy on a Superman statue, and in the comics, the Black Mercy is a plant that attaches to someone and feeds them what they want the most in the world, so pretty much showing them a dream so it can feed off their psychic energy, which was in the Justice League animated series, and we saw it attached to Superman. We have the Phantom Zone projector where Krypton threw their worst prisoners, and then we have the Fortress of Solitude model. They had kryptonite replicas that had the regular green, which is, just deadly to Superman, red, or which gave you random effects, gold, that gives you no powers. In the comics, blue kryptonite causes bizarro pain, so it's the opposite of the green kryptonite for Superman. They have white kryptonite, which kills all plants. In the pre-crisis era, pink kryptonite made Superman gay, but in the Harley Quinn show, it says he swaps genders, which is very interesting. It's most likely to avoid any controversy about turning Superman gay, especially because I do remember someone talking about how controversial that was at the time, and then they have blue saying it cures the effects of red, which would make sense because it's a bizarro version. But all the other ones are the same, where red gives the random effects, gold gives you no powers, and white kills plants. We get to see a large key, which is the key for the Fortress of Solitude. We have Superman's diary, which is written in Kryptonian. Then on top of it, they had a Space Marine armor, which could be a reference to Henry Cavill's Superman, because Henry Cavill loves Warhammer 40k. We have Superman's parents holding up the world, which is the reference to the Fortress of Solitude because he has those statues there as well. But as we go forward into the gala, we also have Bruce making an appearance there with his girlfriend, Lena Luthor, who we've seen most recognizably in the Supergirl TV show, but she is a character from the comics. In the Supergirl show, she was more of a hero than a villain. There's a chance that in Harley Quinn, she might be more of a hero type. However, because of Brainiac's involvement in this series with the robots, because you could see as soon as they turn purple, that's Brainiac's influence, and by the end of the episode, we did see Brainiac, she could be working with Brainiac to make Metropolis this perfect city. Lena Luthor mentions that Bruce likes to call her Martha, which is a reference to Batman v Superman and the whole Martha meme. We get to see Crypto the Super Dog making his appearance, and Harley Quinn makes a joke originally that they put him down because he bit the Flash, which is kind of something that's kind of a dark joke to the world, where if a dog bites someone, people put them down, which is sad and depressing. So I'm glad Crypto is not dead. We get Jimmy Olsen making an appearance, who has his classic Jimmy Olsen look. And we see that Superman is depressed in this episode because of the fact that he can't save anyone. Metropolis is this perfect city. There's nothing bad going on. The robots are taking everything under control, making the city safe, and he just wants to be needed. So we just have Superman being sad and depressed during this because he can't be that hero he wants to be. There is a special item they have at the Superman Gala, which is the first cape that Superman was wrapped in as a baby when he first came to Earth, and we have Superman's rockets in this place. So one of them is his classic one that he came as a baby, and I'm thinking that the other one could be Crypto coming to Earth because there's two of them there. But later we see that Lena Luthor has that gem that Catwoman stole at the very beginning of the episode, and it turns out that is Eclipso's gem. And as soon as Eclipso comes out after Ivy accidentally breaks it, Harley just takes him out in an instant, where in the comics, he's a very powerful, dangerous villain who's an agent of chaos who possesses others to fulfill his nefarious deeds. And he's a dangerous villain. It took the whole Justice Society to take him on, and yet Harley Quinn just took him out one shot. And that's a classic Harley Quinn move from the show, just taking out these most dangerous villains in an instant. And I know people are going to complain about that because it's Eclipso, but honestly, at this point, I put Harley Quinn in its own category where it's just a meme and it makes fun of everyone no matter your status. But after all that, we have Harley Quinn meeting with Superman and giving him a nice therapy session. As she talks to him, he mentions that he flew around the Earth, reverting time to prevent Lois's death, which is a reference to the 1978 Superman movie where he flew around the Earth to prevent Lois's death. So having that classic Superman reference was pretty cool. And it's funny to see that Harley Quinn thinks that Superman is cheating on Lois Lane with Clark Kent because no one sees them in the same room at the same time, not putting together that they're the same person. But also seeing that Superman says he was going on vacation with Clark Kent wasn't the best plan, trying to hide his identity. So I guess he's trying to make sure that Superman and Clark Kent could be missing at the same time. But in this universe, Superman's kind of dumb. So it doesn't make sense that he would put that innuendo in there without noticing. But at the end of the day, Harley Quinn and Ivy have decided to stay in Metropolis, and they have their own place because Bruce Wayne owns this building in Metropolis. So easy as that, they have a place to stay. Because Harley is kind of part of the Bat family now, it makes sense. And I'm curious to see what they're going to get up to, because again, it does feel like earlier seasons of Harley Quinn now, and I'm hoping that it stays that way, because I enjoyed the earlier seasons. I did enjoy some of last season, even though it kind of got so wild and wacky and weird that it kind of was a little pushing it for me, but we'll see what happens this season. And I do like how they're setting up Brainiac, that instead of trying to rule the world, he's trying to rule Metropolis, as he's trying to make it this perfect city. But by having Ivy and Harley there, it drops that perfection by like 15%, and he is not having that. So we have Brainiac coming in because he wants to control Metropolis, Superman's home, and have it this perfect society. Which I wonder if he's gonna make, if his plan is to make it a perfect society and then bottle it up like he does with other cities from around the galaxy. So I'm excited to see what they do with Brainiac. We haven't seen him yet in this series, not that I can remember anyways. So we'll see what happens next as we leave Gotham City and go to Metropolis, and probably see a bunch of Metropolis villains that are going to get made fun of throughout the series. Let me know, what other Easter eggs and references did you notice during the first episode of season 5, and how did you feel about it? Did you like it? Did you not? I'm curious to get your opinion, and we can talk about it in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot, and you get to stay up to date with all my Harley Quinn breakdowns. Plus, I did post a Daredevil trailer video yesterday, so make sure to go check that out if you love Daredevil. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later when it's time to watch another episode of Harley Quinn.